Hello everyone, this is Dave and welcome to Moonride, where we're channeling the man in the moon. Today I'm just going to see what shows up in terms of what I should read on. I'm kind of having a feeling that it will be about Trump. We'll see. Okay, the Donald and Epstein are still coming up, and they're coming up together. Everyone, be sure to pay attention to this story. This is the story that will break Trump, in my opinion, right? And I'm speaking as Dave, not the channel here, but keep an eye on this story. They are having trouble spinning it and making it Hillary Clinton's fault. More is going to come out. Something on the CD. There's something on the CDs that they took from the safe. I think Epstein was prepared to blackmail Trump if this came to pass, but they got to the safe first. Something's going on with that CD. They're trying to hide it. They're trying to cover it up. Somebody in that, I see the CD almost like getting cut in half. They're trying to get hold of the CD and prevent it from exposing a lot of people. But there's like a tug of war, a battle going on internally. Because the Southern District of New York got the CD. I wonder if somebody isn't even making a copy because they think that the government, that Trump's government, I should say, will get a hold of it. Are they making a copy? I think they're making several copies, and it makes me feel like somebody's going to release it to the media. It's going to be sent somehow because people are afraid that it will be suppressed. I see a woman and she's putting it in her purse. A tear's running down her cheek as she puts this CD in her purse. She puts it in a mailbox and she sends it to somebody. It looks like it could be she's in New York City. She's in a major city and that's where she's sending it. She might send it to the Times. And she's looking at me very determined. It's almost like she's saying this is the only way. Others are backing her up. Others are trying to help her. But they're sending this information out under the radar. Epstein's looking really malicious, and he's not, directing this maliciousness at the children. He's addressing the president. And it's interesting, people have said that they had an argument at some point. So, that might be true because Epstein looks pretty vindictive. And he also looks like he doesn't have anything to lose. Epstein will likely go to prison for his entire life. So why shouldn't he give up Donald Trump? Okay, Spirit, can you show me any more images in this regard? Is that all we get to know today? It might be out in the Post. And then the Washington Post might also print something because I'm getting the image of Post. But that might just mean it's posted in the mail to someone. There's going to be quite a tug of war about this. Keep your eye on that story. That is a really important story. It's more important, actually, than any other story right now, in the sense of what its results will be. Because you can't say somebody's lying. You can't just say, oh, the news media made it up. There's too much attention directed at this. Okay, anything else about this relationship we need to know? I'm getting a no for now. That's all we need to know. Trump, what about Mueller? I mean, is the testimonies, as clients know, testimony is being sort of suspended. Getting the number 22. It might be next week that we have this. Maybe it's the 22nd. Is that what I should get from Mueller? It's strange. I almost get like a lamp, like a genie's lamp. Ah, maybe the genie's coming out of the bottle. Ah, okay. Is that what we mean? Yeah, okay, I'm getting that that's what we mean. The genie is, once it's out of the bottle, and there's some things that I think we still don't know, the genie, once it gets out of the bottle, will get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's what Mueller is kind of looking like he's going to do. Don't underestimate Mueller. He has calculated a lot of these things. There's some calculation to the point where he kind of maybe even expected this to happen on some level. He didn't know it was going to happen, but he had a feeling, and so he had a backup plan. Spirit, why is there a delay? What's up with the delay? There's something about a couple of days for him to organize this. Again, I'm seeing the genie. There's something like they want to organize it so it comes out at the right time in the right way. And if we did it sooner, it wouldn't work. Who is this? Yeah, in my image, Robert Mueller looks very angry. And he's usually so calm, but in this image, he looks really upset. And I keep seeing like connection between Trump and Barr and Mueller, and they're kind of going around and back and forth. And things are changing rapidly. Much of the future is really unknown right now. It's being calculated and laid out as we speak. But Mueller doesn't look foolish in this image. He looks like he really knows what he's doing, and he understands the importance of this for our country. Okay, Mr. Mueller, what you gonna do? I get like a very organized plan. Like he's writing things out in a notebook and he's looking at me like, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3. This is what we're doing. It's almost like he's like teaching me to be an FBI, employee or something. But he's deadly serious. There's more testimony. There's like another, it looks like a woman is testifying. There's something else about, it's not just Mueller that's testifying. It's going to lead to testimony from another person. I think it might be, Trump's secretary or something. It's curly brown hair, but I think that's who I'm seeing. So here's an image. There's a camel. The camel walks a long distance to get to the oasis. We're in the desert right now. It seems like nothing is happening, but under the surface, something is happening. And as we arrive at this hearing, it will be very revelatory. It's a genie that can't be put back in the bottle. So the people who support Trump, they're really not going to be able to deny and deny and deny and deny. It will be so obvious that they can't confront it. Kind of like Trump's last racist tweets and speeches. You can't deny it now. Anything we can know about him. Again, it's a completion. Some completion will happen when he testifies Mm. I kind of get a scroll, like a scroll with writing on it. I don't know. It looks like it's a constitution, or it seems like it's like an old scroll with the handwritten. I assume that's a constitution. Hmm. And it's funny because I get actually Mueller ripping the Constitution in half. It might not be a constitution. Maybe it's the rules that say you can't indict a sitting president. It might be that he's just, given up in terms of how he organized this. He's really ready to go. I get him being very ready to change everybody's mind. Yeah. Don't be surprised also if he handles those Republicans like, just like putty in his hands. They're not going to be able to land a blow. The more questions they ask, the more they make themselves look foolish because he will be able to answer them in a practical way without getting emotional. Yeah, there's a good deal to be said for this, right? One thing, too, is as you watch him in this hearing, remember there's a good deal to be said for his calmness as we move forward politically. If you don't get emotional, and obviously you're going to have feelings, but if you don't show your emotions, you're not led by these emotions, you have a lot more power than people who react. Trump wants people to react emotionally, and so he can go, look how stupid they are. This is a distraction. Think of Mueller. You don't have to agree with everything that he says, but think of the way that he handles it with this sort of deadly seriousness. And he doesn't make these, personal attacks. He doesn't do any of this stuff. Deadly serious. The calmness that he is reflecting completely deflates the Republicans. So, Spirit, yeah, I do want to ask about Trump's latest racist tweets. Mm. Well, it's just more vulgarity. It's just, he's playing to his base, obviously. It's very, very, low and, trashy how he behaves. Yeah, that's the image that, these kind of images are good for his ego. He thinks they're good for his base. That's what he believes them to be because it worked before. So why would he change now? It worked last election. But he really is a one-trick pony. Once you go to racism, there's really nothing more to be said. There's just more racism or more shock or more whatever. Once you've hit the bottom, there's not much more bottom you can go. We could go out and, drop the N-bomb or something and really piss people off. But he's already had to back up a tiny bit from what he said. So this is a losing strategy. It might seem frightening, and it is, but it's just his ego. It's just the only people who will believe this really will be like the lowest of the low, the total diehards. We're going to vote for him anyway, and they were going to turn out and vote anyway, so not more of them will vote. I hate to say it, and I'm trying to block the image. When I'm going to call them the Fantastic Four, those four women went down to the border to check it out. They found a website that those border agents had that predicted, they had images of, Ocasio-Cortez getting sexually assaulted by Trump. And it's not a pretty image. I'm trying to keep it out of it. But that's all it is. It's just these nasty, barbarous images of, sexual assault. Like if somebody's going to be bought on that, that doesn't say, there's nothing more to say about that. That is a shrinking electorate. Again, I know that we should have some reaction to it, but the people who support that are getting smaller and smaller as a group of people. They're getting quieter and quieter. It's harder and harder to defend. And here's the other good thing about it. It's really costing the Republican Senate. Now, they're going to have to go into their next election and 10% of African Americans voted for Trump. And just think about that. 10% voted for Trump, right? That 10% is not going to vote for Trump the next time around. right? They're not able to get beyond this bigotry, I think. Anything more about these? I think the other thing is that I'm getting is that even the people in that space who are like cheering, some of them are not even comfortable with that. It might appear that you're hearing people chant this, but not all of the people in that audience. If you look at those videos again, you'll see that half of the people, even the people they've chosen to have stand behind Trump, half of them are silent while others chant. And some of them you'll see are not, they're not moving their lips, they're not even pretending. They actually kind of look embarrassed. So don't misunderstand this as, this massive support that he's getting. There are people within his own camp who are somewhat uncomfortable. It's like they kind of have a feeling that they know this is a losing strategy and they're going too far. And it's not over yet. He's just going to do it again and again and again. He's just going to keep trying to double down. There is no more strategy. There is nothing else that he has to offer. There's just more and more bigotry. So it's really, it is kind of playing into the hands of those who would defeat him. He's just so arrogant he doesn't notice that. Okay, great. So Spirit, how do we deal with this racism? As American people are really just, all of us are overwhelmed. I don't know what else to call it. How do we deal with this racism? What should we do? Okay, well, you know what I get is I get an image of Harriet Tubman. Harriet, what do you advise? What do you advise? She's sending a letter. She's sending a letter. I wonder if there's some letter on record. Oh, maybe she's sending us a message. Okay. Can you tell me your message, Harriet? Now, she's still writing. What should the people do now, Harriet? She's building a room. She's like building a little house. But it's specifically inside. We're sitting inside. Okay, this is the image. Harriet Tubman, when she was on the Underground Railroad, she actually brought slaves to the homes of white people to hide them. And they did it, right? So, there's lots of people that we don't know about in the Underground Railroad who were, white. We'll never know who they were. They helped out in various ways. And we don't even know who they are. So don't forget that there's a lot going on that we do not see, and there is some kind of solidarity that is being built right now, and it must be built, right? There has to be a solidarity between all minorities and, traditionally white people. There has to be some solidarity. Forget the dark forces that are, bigoted. Forget them. They are going to stay bigoted. Within the camp of relationships that is being created, just be mindful that there are white people who are not racist and are actively trying to move forward with this. There are minorities of every kind that need to stand together right now. Coalitions have got to be built. She's just showing me the particular homes where these people in the Underground Railroad, like they're hidden. They had like these hidden passages. I think that even when they built some of these homes, I've seen them, they built these homes with like sort of secret, intentionally, they built them with these secret, hiding places and all these ways to get out. So remember that these people in the Underground Railroad, they organized ways, despite what the majority was saying or even half the population was saying. They took these huge risks to do that. Don't forget this, that we have to stick together regardless of race. We have to stick together, and we have to oppose the evil forces. Forget color, forget all that stuff. And I understand that in a sense, that is a beautiful thing. Seeing people come together and work to a cause, seeing people say, try to work out and discuss what the problems are with our society, whether you're white or black or whatever color you are. That's a beautiful thing to watch. It's an active movement towards and forward. And take heart. It's very difficult to see these racist people. One thing that could be really helpful is if you turn your attention and look at some of the history of, how did black people escape when they left? Who helped them? How did people come together? I know there were people who hung rugs out. They hung these, not rugs, but bedspreads. They hung them out to signal whether it was safe or dangerous for people to escape. These were not necessarily people of one particular race. A lot of people did this. This is what it looks like. This is the mosaic of people who are coming together. And you're really being human when you're doing this. Coming to some kind of understanding of, despite history, we are this. Despite what this guy said, we are not that, we are this. Having a dialogue about, what it's like to be a minority of America would be a really good thing, but it's got to be a dialogue. It can't be this encampment from which any of us ever leave. It's not going to do you any good to argue with some people, but there are some people who could be persuaded and who will listen to you, and there's some really good people out there doing really good work. There is a silver lining here. This is defining us and who we are. Again, like Abraham Hicks always says, sometimes you get the opposite of what you want before you get what you want, so you can reject that opposite. All right? So thanks so much for watching.